Isn't that right, Rob? What's your advice to go upwind?
Go sail.
Since you're... It is easier with a sail.
Oh my God, yes.
Hey, it's Ben with AWKWA, Arizona Windsurfing, Kiteboarding, and Wingfoiling Association. I've been wanting to do this video for a long time. In it, I'm going to talk about my favorite tips, techniques, and tricks for how to go upwind off foil. The core critical skill that you need to have before you learn to do anything else in wingfoiling, in my opinion. I will not let people I'm trying to teach even think about barreling downwind and trying to get on foil until they can show me that they can go upwind, sail or wingsurf upwind consistently at will and get back to their point of origin basically without help or without any kind of rescue whatsoever. So as we can see here, I've got my handy dandy inflatable wing as represented by a duotone mini boom. So use your imagination, just bear with me. It's a lot easier to film with this thing. Just imagine wherever I put my hands on the boom here is where I would be putting my hands on the handles of the wing strut. Okay. All right, so the first thing you want to do when trying to wingsurf or just sail upwind is preparation, okay? In this case, what do I mean by preparation? I mean, you already want to go ahead and have the board oriented or set up in at most a crosswind or across the wind direction, if not even biased, pointing it a little bit upwind, all right? So something that you could kind of think about as you're, kind of getting your wing straightened out or flipped over or whatever, and you're getting ready to get back on again is kind of think about where you want to go. What's your target for upwind? And then go ahead, and if the board isn't already, go ahead and point the board exactly in that direction. And hopefully it will be a little bit upwind and not crosswind. In concert with that, you should really be comfortable by now knowing how to manipulate the wing by just the lead or neutral or flag out handle, how to get the board turned crosswind, even if not upwind, just by virtue of manipulating the wing through that front or lead handle, okay? This is already going to save a lot of time because by the time you're ready to stand up and get going and have momentum, you're ideally, hopefully already going to be facing the direction upwind that you want to go, okay? Okay, so next, in terms of just going upwind, I will actually, and I definitely advocate this among people I'm teaching, you don't need to be in a hurry to stand up, okay? You want to take your time and you actually want to have a little bit of power, a little bit of momentum. And I highly recommend, I make my people that I'm teaching do this too, is actually show me that they can actually sail from either a squat or a kneel or even just plain from a knee start, that they can actually go upwind somewhat decently, okay? And the main reason for that is that I know that if they can go upwind from that sort of base starting position, once they take it upstairs and are actually standing with good form and posture, if you can do it down there, I mean, once you're up here, you have just so much more efficiency. So what I will do from my base or starting position, for me it's a squat, almost always it's a squat, I will actually start to power up. And if there's wind, it's going to be much easier, obviously. So I will get power, I will get momentum going, as most of you probably already know by now. With momentum, with a little bit more speed, you consequently have a lot more stability with the board. And as I have momentum, then I slowly stand up from my strong position, my base position, and begin to get the wing in a more efficient flight profile. So once I've stood up, this always gets, including myself, X or prior or people coming to winging from windsurfing, this always gets them where, and even some beginners who equate sheeting in hard with the boom. It's not the boom, I'm sorry. This is a boom, but sheeting in hard with the backhand on the strut, a back handle, equate sheeting in with power, okay? And to a large extent, usually that's correct in winging. But when you're going upwind, really cranking in on the power is not going to be very efficient or useful, okay? Even though that might be counterintuitive. Where some of you coming from a windsurfing background, it might actually be advantageous. You may have noticed, especially with going upwind, sometimes letting out the sail, sometimes you actually move faster than if you were to just jam on the power and just bring everything in with that backhand. And the principle is the same. By opening up, you allow the wing to have that shape, that profile by which the wind, which you are now coming at or driving towards at a very oblique angle, I don't know. And so because of that, you need to allow the wing to have its shape, all right, in order to be able to divert airflow and turn that into propulsion or thrust forward, okay? A phrase I like to use, you probably heard me say it in other videos, is you want to let the wing breathe, okay? Kind of like with lungs, and I think it's a good visual or analogy. You don't want to like strangulate it, but you want to let those lungs, i.e. the wing, fill up with air, all right? So that, like I said, it can flow through and out and thereby propel you or drive you forward. So I tend to, this is now I'm coming at the camera on the board. I tend to open up quite a bit, okay? As I'm opening up, I am not cranking down with my back hand, but I'm actually, and you've seen, I know, other videos that have used this term, but feathering in the power. Basically, you're just sort of kind of gently bringing in, and you're almost like kind of continually as you're going upwind, just sort of testing, like, okay, where is, at what angle of the wing am I getting kind of pretty good drive, pretty good propulsion, pretty steady power, okay? And once you kind of have that right angle, that correct angle where the drive and the propulsion is there, and you can see, this is why we have a goal upwind, you can actually see that you are making some kind of progress, then just freeze, just hold it and enjoy it, okay? There comes a point where you're just kind of doing too much. If it's working, don't do anything, okay? Just freeze and let it work, all right? Because sooner or later, the wind is going to shift, and you're going to be back to kind of like, oh, shoot, I lost all power, or I'm starting to crab, or I'm not making any progress. Okay, so when you have that sweet spot, and you have a breeze that's cooperating, and a wind direction that's cooperating, just freeze, hold your position, and just work it, okay? So the next point is, and again, this is going to make a lot of sense to the windsurfers out there, is in terms of affecting your heading or your direction, mechanically, in order to go downwind, we want to present the wing more forward towards the nose of the board, okay? Whereas in order to go upwind, which is the topic of today's video, we want to actually tend to draw or position the wing as far back as we can almost, okay, or towards the tail of the board, all right? Consequently, what you'll see, unlike in your normal wingsurfing or foiling riding stance where the front arm, and again, I'm going this way now, sorry. The front arm is straight or more or less extended, and the back arm is kind of the throttle, so sometimes it's flexed and sometimes it's not. When we're actually trying to sail upwind, what you'll often see is the opposite, all right? My back arm is almost always straight as I'm kind of trying to search for the correct amount of angle of attack and while maintaining power. And it's my front arm that is actually the one that is like super cinched up or crunched up and almost like it's trying to get everything as far back as possible. Okay, so it ends up kind of looking something like this. Now, again, if we're going to the right side of the video frame here, if you could see through the wing, it would kind of look something like this. You know, my head is up, looking at the target, looking at the horizon, making sure I'm on track, while I'm kind of feathering in the power a little bit with the back handle. But as you can hopefully see here, I mean, the arm is pretty straight because the idea is to get the wing as far back to the tail as possible in order to maintain that upwind direction and drive. Okay, and so finally, even if you're doing everything right, you may come to a point where you're not making any further progress towards your goal. Okay, you're stopping just short. And you can usually tell this by if the wind isn't already just blasting in your face. You notice maybe from your board that it is being sort of crabbed, as I call it, sideways. In that case, even though you have done everything right, what's probably happening is that you've done too good of a job, and now you're either pointed too much directly into the wind, or, as often happens to us here in the desert, the wind has just shifted on you to the point where now you're not so much close hauled, but now you're directly into the wind and locked down. Okay, if that happens to you, it's no big deal. All right, it's perfectly normal. What I always advise in a situation like that is once you've figured out what's happening, it's perfectly okay to, like I mentioned before, return the wing to more of a downwind or power up presentation. So again, if we're going this way, move the wing more forward as opposed to kind of the upwind drive position. With that, you will be sent off of your target or track. You'll be sent more downwind. That's okay, because we're trying to regain power, regain momentum at that point in time. And then at that point in time, it's kind of a rinse and repeat situation, because once you have power, once you have stability, you can then start to open up the wing and sort of suss out or feel out or test out kind of where that optimal angle of attack upwind is. And once you've kind of found where that is, again, just lock it down, hold it, freeze, especially if it's working. Okay, if it's not working, you may need to do a little more testing and refining of that angle of attack to find the optimum angle. Okay, but once you're powered up, once you've got some forward drive again, you can then concern yourself with getting yourself back on track, regaining your target on the horizon, and moving towards it. All right, kids, and that is my video on how to wing surf or sail off foil upwind. And let me know down below if, particularly if you happen to be struggling with sailing upwind. Let me know down in the comments below if all or any of these techniques help, or even better, what specifically you felt helped you get things to kind of click in terms of being able to finally sail upwind. Also, if you did find this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button, the little thumbs up guy down below. If you like content like this and want to see more videos like it, also don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, as well as the little bell icons to get notified of the latest how-tos and tutorials like this one, as well as gear reviews, travel guides, and other great content that I hope to be publishing in the very near future. Until next time, thanks for watching. This has been Ben with AWKWA, Arizona Windsurfing, Kiteboarding, and Wingfoiling Association. As always, wishing you good winds and happy sailing.